Am I the asshole for refusing to forgive and making life more difficult at home? 16 female. Lost my dad when I was a baby. I only ever had one photo of him and me together, just the two of us. My mom put it in this cardboard photo frame my dad made when I was a kid. Technically she just stuck it on with tape. My mom remarried when I was 11 and her husband has a daughter B who is 11. Back in July my mom and her husband went back to work after working from home with COVID, and they asked me to stay home with B for 2 days because the babysitter cancelled very last minute. Day 1 was pretty rough and I decided I wasn't going to take B to the park if she was going to be demanding and cause trouble. Day 2 came and she wanted the park, started demanding I take her, and I said no. I also wouldn't let her eat chocolate for lunch. So she went upstairs, into my room, and tore up the photo and frame of me and my dad. I yelled at her and sent her to her room, and when her dad got home I told her he was never ever to leave me with her again. Her dad made her apologize, but I didn't accept it. And I still haven't. And I will not spend any time with her now. My mom has told me to forgive her because she's 11. I have made my feelings clear. My mom got another copy of the photo from my grandparents. But it won't ever replace the frame or the fact she did it out of spite. Apparently this has made things difficult now because they always have to take her if no other adult is in the house. They don't trust her to be left unattended while going shopping, and they know I won't take care of her anymore or do anything for her. It also means if any issues with the babysitter come up they have to leave work early, get to work late, etc. My mom has begged me to forgive. I just can't. I can't even look at her anymore. I won't say how I feel about her now, but yeah. Am I the asshole for not forgiving her?
Not the asshole. 11 is old enough to understand why what she did was so awful. That's why she did it. And if B destroys it while being with you for 2 days, you looking after her while they are at work is obviously not going to work out and is a bad idea. They aren't helping you to discipline B at all. Oh girl, please make as many digital copies of that photo as you can. Things get ruined, but memories stay forever. Try to focus on yourself, and one day you may be able to forgive her for being young, dumb and cruel. It's more her dad being a crap parent than anything. A 16-year-old shouldn't be responsible for another child if that child is difficult and intentionally awful.
Not the asshole. It's very telling that she's 11 years old and can't be trusted to stay home alone while your parents go to the grocery store. 11 is old enough to not need a babysitter. It sounds like your stepsister has some mental health issues, and it is not your responsibility to help her with them. What she did is far beyond just being a brat. It was sadistic, and it was after a day and a half of you watching her. What will she do to you the next time you don't let her get her way? Just because she's younger doesn't mean she isn't a danger to you.
Not the asshole. 11 is old enough to know not to tear up a picture of someone's dead father. Your mom and stepdad are spoiling B by making excuses for her and not holding her accountable for her actions. This is 100% your parents' fault.
Not the asshole. She hit you where she knew that would hit you the most. She's not a baby, so she knew what she did. Your parents want you to forgive her just to make their life easier, but don't pay attention to the problem, that you won't trust and forget this soon, if ever. Not the asshole. While I understand the position your parents are in, B is their responsibility, not yours. B was malicious and destroyed something that can't be replaced. There are consequences to actions, and that includes ones for your mom and stepdad. If you decide to forgive B and babysit, set some ground rules with your mom, stepdad, and B. They must be followed, or B suffers the consequences, and you will no longer have to babysit.
Not the asshole. B destroyed something irreplaceable because she wanted to hurt you. It may take you a very long time to let go of the hurt she caused, and your mom and stepdad can't make that happen any faster. You have to process the loss in your own time. Thank goodness your grandparents at least had an extra copy of the photo. Please make sure to get a digital copy of it ASAP to keep backed up somewhere so that you can print another if something happens to the one you have now. That photo is much too precious to lose. Not the asshole. Clearly there are some parenting issues going on here. She didn't get her way, and somewhere along the way learned that going nuclear gets her what she wants without consequence. In this case, going nuclear did irreparable harm. That's a lesson she'll need to learn. But mostly what I want to say is that if you know anyone with decent Photoshop skills, you might be able to scan the fragments and puzzle it back together almost seamlessly. You can then print it out at any pharmacy and have a copy that's pretty close to the original. In fact, if they're good enough Photoshop skills, they might even be able to enhance the image and color balance whatever may have faded from it.
Not the asshole. You are under no obligation to be your mom and stepdad's unpaid babysitter. It is their problem to manage, not yours. Not the asshole. 11 is old enough, no she can't tear up things and make demands. 11 is usually middle school or late elementary school age, way past the point tantrums are appropriate.
Not the asshole. Your stepdad should have raised her better. At 5 kids know some things are unacceptable. This is one of them. Shush is 11 and apparently an undisciplined fool. Was she even punished beyond a forced apology? Can she be sent to live her mother while you cool down to at least tolerate her? Shush is old enough to understand that she did something awful. The house needs to heal from her actions. It works better with the cause removed.
Not the asshole. But not just for the frame. Kids have tantrums. Kids want chocolate for lunch. At 11, she is still learning to push boundaries. But that this is her go-to for your refusal is weird. She picked that because she knew it was important, and destroyed it to make you upset. Does she do this a lot? Also, 11 is old enough in most states to be left alone for an hour or two unsupervised. Your parents don't trust her to be left alone? Because they are worried someone will rob the house? Or because they are worried she will tear the place up? You shouldn't have to be the babysitter if you don't want to a kid that massively hurt you.
Info: Has B made any attempt to apologize sincerely?
Info: Does B have any mental disabilities? 11 seems awfully old for an inability to be left alone and wanton destruction over a missed trip to the park.
Not the asshole. This kid is a jerk, honestly. And while that is slightly softened by the fact that at 11 a person's maturity isn't all there, she should be old enough to recognize that what she did was wrong. As long as you're simply not talking to her and you aren't retaliating, not the asshole.
Not the asshole. I wouldn't forgive either. An 11-year-old knows. If it was a toddler, I'd say you were being harsh. Tough shit that the parents are having a hard time. Not the asshole. Better keep an eye on her, she is capable of doing a lot to hurt you.
Not the asshole. She's 11, not 4. When I was 11 I could clearly understand when my actions would hurt someone, and felt really guilty about that. The age argument was responsible for 95% of my teachers' negligence about the bullying I suffered. According to them, my classmates were too young to understand that bullying is wrong. We were 10, but for some reason I wasn't too young to deal with the pain. People should stop trying to justify the evil things children do by saying this. The age doesn't change the wickedness of the actions. She's almost a teenager. It's time to grow up a little bit and start being responsible for what she does.
Info: I am curious after a convo in the comments. Was there ever a punishment following the initial apology? If there was, I'm willing to update my response, but you never mentioned one, so I don't know. I can only guess. Either way, you're not the asshole because forgiveness can take time and possibly never happen, but I'm just curious at this point.
Info: Did she get any punishment? Being forced to apologize is not a punishment.
Not the asshole, but this isn't healthy for you, to carry this incident with you forever without accepting the apology. That said, she lashed out at me last time I babysat her, so I'm not doing that again is perfectly fair.
Not the asshole. Parents need to look after their child.
Not the asshole. Info: Just want to know if B was actually disciplined for this. Was she only made to apologize and nothing else? You're not the asshole, but really want to know if your parents did anything.
B doesn't sound like she's sorry she did it. It sounds like your mother and stepfather are sorry B did it because it's now inconveniencing them. You didn't even mention what punishment they gave her, so it sounds like this wasn't really an issue to them until you made it an issue to their convenience. In short, for your parents this is all about themselves and not about you. Do not forgive until B comes to you on her own with real regret and the willingness to make amends for her action. Or you could make your parents an offer. If you get to decide B's punishment and they do not interfere other than making her do it, when the punishment is complete then you'll go back to babysitting.
Not the asshole. She is old enough to know what she did was wrong.
Not the asshole. She did you a serious wrong. She hasn't done anything to show she is sorry. Also, the fact she can't be left alone says a lot. She sound immature. I would make it clear you will not be babysitting her ever again. It makes me angry that they didn't really punish B. It was your job to watch her and it isn't on you to forgive her when she hasn't done anything to show remorse.
Not the asshole. She's 11 and has proven through action she is not mature enough to be left without parental, or an adult, 18 plus, proxy. Maybe save any irreplaceable items at your grandparents' dad's side, if possible. You're only 16 and you cannot get the child the help she needs. That's on your mom and stepdad.
Not the asshole. My mom has told me to forgive her because she's 11. And you're 16. You're a child too. Not the asshole. She's 11, not 5. She knew exactly what she was doing. I wouldn't be able to forgive her either. They should get as many babysitters on call anyway, seeing how you're a teen and under no obligations to take care of anyone.
Not the asshole. 11 is old enough not to touch other people's things, let alone something this important. If it took 2 days of not being given free rein, then B has proven that she indeed cannot be trusted unattended.
No reason for her to forgive and move on. For those saying that she is family, she isn't. She didn't have any choice in the matter. No. She's only 11 is not an excuse. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she chose to do it cause she knew that would hurt you the most. They can deal with the consequences now.
Not the asshole. 11 is old enough. She was malicious. Look for someone who can do restoration to get the photo fixed. Not the asshole. You are not a built-in babysitter. Especially for what seems like a very difficult child. My kids, 9 and 11, are far from perfect little angels, but I can leave them alone. I'm the house to go grocery shopping. That's a lot to put on someone else, especially if they're getting the childcare for free. They are not stuck. They can do exactly what normal people do and pay a babysitter.
Not the asshole. B was old enough to know she was going for the jugular. She is undoubtedly having issues sharing her dad with your mom, but what she did is pretty unforgivable. It also sounds like your mom and stepdad are desperate because getting a babysitter for just an hour or two isn't always feasible, especially now during COVID. Not your problem. B needs therapy to deal with the life change. Not the asshole. Somebody can apologize to you all they like, but nothing says that you have to accept the apology. Not the asshole. 11 is old enough to know what she was doing, and also it's unfair of your parents to see you as a free babysitter.
Not the asshole. 11 is way too old to be acting like that. TF.
Not the asshole. I'd never even look at her again. 2 years of ignoring the little monster and you can leave and never speak to her again.
NTA. Children know what they are doing, and are shitheads about it.
When I was 11 I was babysitting my 5-year-old twin sisters. WTF.
Not the asshole. B doesn't listen to you and is capable of doing really awful things to you if you don't pander to her. It's not appropriate for you to be in charge of her, and if your parents didn't have you they'd have to do all of that anyway, so you're not doing anything bad to them by refusing to take responsibility for her.
The fact she's 11 and can't be trusted to be alone for a few hours is pretty telling. She is definitely an ongoing issue. I do not blame you at all for standing your ground on this. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. If she's old enough to know that tearing up that photo, as opposed to if she just destroyed a bunch of stuff and that happened to be part of it, is a way to get you back for something she didn't like, she's old enough to deal with the consequences of that. Sucks that your parents have to deal with it now, but that's part of being a parent, not the responsibility of another kid.
Not the asshole. She's 11, almost a teenager and very aware of what she does. She could have messed up literally anything else in the house, your room, but she went straight for the most important thing in your room. She knew exactly what she was doing and how much it's hurt you. I'm very sorry, Op. I'm sure eventually you'll be okay with your stepsister, but it's definitely not now, and that's completely okay.
Not the asshole. The problem is your mum and stepdad haven't shown any real consequences for her actions and expect a sorry to be enough. Would you forgive her if your parents made her give up something special? Maybe not forever, but make her think it's forever and then return it a month later, just so she understands the heartache.
Not the asshole. Your stepsister did a deeply hurtful thing. You have the right to decide how you want to respond to it.
Info. Does B have any sort of disabilities? Because both the only people I knew who weren't allowed to stay home alone at 11 were people with somewhat bad mental disabilities and one guy who kept trying to experiment with household chemicals and had made explosives more than once when his parents left him alone. He's the reason my parents made me tell all my friends before they came over that they aren't allowed to bring over explosives because he tried to bring homemade nitroglycerin and gunpowder to a robotics meeting.
Not the asshole. If she was like 6 I would understand parents' pav. But she's 11. I don't know any 11-year-olds that would do something like that. Info. Was she punished other than having to apologize?